You're now in tune to Agree to Disagree. Agree to Disagree on Urban Hype Radio with your hosts Superfly Forte, First Class, and DJ JT.
Yes, everybody. We are here again for another episode of Agree to Disagree. We hope you guys, stay locked, you stay loaded each and every week because we get it right here. I got my co-hosts sitting here in the studio with me. Where you guys at, man?
You know who it is, First Class. Here again.
For sure. Forte, where you at?
Yeah. Superfly Forte in the building. Another week. Let's get it.
Yeah, man. So that's how it goes. You're inside. Agree to Disagree. We always tell you, make sure you tell a friend how it goes down.
Yes,
make
sir.
sure you guys go Google us. Make sure you check it out. We are here. We're on all streams of social media, Twitter, Instagram. Just look for us, man. You'll find us for sure. So how we do it each and every week is we kind of get into a little recap of, kind of how our weekend started and stuff like that. So I'm actually going to start with Forte this time.
Okay.
All right. Switch
So
it up a little
switch
bit.
up.
Yeah, just a little switch up, a little bit.
My weekend started pretty quiet, man. I had a long week of work, man. So last night didn't really do much. Just kind of went to the gym and then I went back home and just chilled out, watched some Netflix. Finished up watching Ozarks.
Oh,
You guys
okay,
haven't
yeah.
tuned into Ozarks?
You finished? Oh, never mind. Go on.
Yeah, finished season 2. So,
Yeah.
Season 2. No,
yeah.
I didn't get there yet.
Yeah, so
I'm
that's
on
it,
that.
man. That's it. And then today, might be passing by a barbecue later, and then there's the Canelo fight later as well that I might tune into.
Triple G.
So that's what I'm looking like, man.
Okay.
All right. Before I go into my weekend, what did you think about Ozarks? Because I also finished it.
What I think about it overall, or you're talking about just the ending?
Overall, since we're on season two, the ending. What are your thoughts without giving out too much? Because clearly somebody isn't caught
Yeah,
up.
there's a lot to.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot.
You know what? It's always the same storyline for me when it comes to these type of movies
Okay.
or type of shows.
Yeah.
Man, the woman just won't let the man flourish. And you know what he wants to do? He's trying to, right his wrongs, and she just won't let it happen, man. It's like the same story.
You see, you say that, and then I want to say something, but I
Yeah,
can't
you
say
say too
something,
much, but-
right?
Yeah.
But I mean, and listen, we're not trying to put any woman down here. At the end of the day, women are the strongest people on this earth. But every movie or every show, like Forte is saying, it's like the demise comes because of a woman.
Yeah,
That-
always,
like, you know
man,
what I mean?
always.
And even in reality, that's why men die earlier. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna say women. I'm gonna say the wrong woman, because there's some movies and some shows that the right woman will lift the man up, but like there's a lot of movies and shows
I
where
mean, I
the
think
woman
even
bring
when
down, man.
I think even when the woman lift them up, it's still a woman thing. In
Yeah.
my opinion, I mean,
It's that woman X factor.
Women are built a certain way, and we're built a certain way, and sometimes we try. Like, I think that's where happy life comes from,
Mhm.
because men are happier when the woman's happy, because truthfully, it brings less a headache. One, and two, you want to please your woman.
Mm.
So because you're doing that for so long, it adds more stress and then takes away years from your life, in my opinion.
Okay. That's crazy.
But yeah, you got to see season 2.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna be.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to get catch up for next week.
all right.
I'm gonna try to get catch up so
So-
we can have that conversation
Yeah.
flat out.
I'll say this without putting out too much. I am so impressed with the acting on the show. I think different role from Jason Bateman. I've seen enough of his work, but I can't say like I've seen a plethora of his work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I love the serious role on him. I love how he can still do his sarcastic personality, but it works for the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen anybody do bad acting on the show.
Yeah.
I think
Good
it gives
show
you
overall,
everything that you need. And the only upsetting factor right now is that I'm gonna have to wait a year for
Yeah,
season 3.
I hate that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's and
You know what I
Netflix
mean?
sometimes takes a little long to drop these seasons.
yeah, but they do it on purpose, and I think it is a well-oiled machine. And kudos to them. The fact that I'm mad that I have to wait till season 3 shows that you're doing the right
Is
thing,
it a
right?
Netflix show though, or is it like
Yeah.
a?
Yeah,
it's just
that's where it
Netflix?
started.
Okay.
That's where I
Like,
started.
literally
Yeah,
on-
Netflix will definitely take a long time.
Yeah, like literally on August 31st,
Okay.
they dropped season 2, and then so that's obviously what's.
Oh, that was like just the other day.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not that far behind.
I mean,
Well, in Netflix time, you're behind.
I watched
That
it
could get
within-
watched in 2 days.
Yeah, I watched it in 2 to 3 days. Facts.
Wow.
Like I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shower, brush your teeth. Ozark.
And real quick before we move on, would you say season 1 or season 2 is better?
Season 2.
Season 2.
Season 2? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Because I
definitely.
thought season 1 was pretty
Season
decent.
2 definitely shows more depth and character.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So I'm in. Make sure you guys check it out, Ozark.
All right. Now that we've put our plug for Ozark, I worked last night until 10:30.
Okay.
So that's what I was doing. It's been a long week as well for me. I'm all right today. I'm not too tired, but I'm going to be doing all the events that Superfly mentioned. However, there'll be an extra event for me, which is 2K19. I got surprised with 2K19, so I'll definitely be doing my face scan. And hopefully it looks just like me. I've seen a couple
Okay.
people that
Yeah, I seen it.
it looks
legit.
identical.
Yeah.
Shout out to Boy Wonder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know if that was a face scan though. I think
Nah,
they
that was
actually
a
brought
face
him
scan.
in.
Nah.
No, that was just a face
I
scan.
saw K Breezy's and his is like that too.
Okay,
So
all right.
shout out to Kyle Brisbane, man. Yeah, shout out to 2K19 too, because I'm ready. I thought I was gonna wait on 2K18 for a little bit, get it at Christmas, but not. I'm ready, man.
You're ready.
I'm ready. What about you?
That's
What's
good.
on the list for your weekend?
Man, so yesterday, most of I'd say most of the week was actually work.
Yeah.
Yesterday though, I actually went out to Barrie.
Oh.
So Peter Jackson and a bunch of I think other people, they have a tour, so they brought Fetty Wap up.
Oh, okay.
So he's kind of like on a Canadian tour, a couple of Canadian cities.
Right.
I think last weekend they were out like Sudbury area, whatever the case may be. But last night they were in Barrie. And then I believe on Tuesday night they're going to be in the Guelph, Kitchener area. So they're doing this little, and then I believe then they're going like New Brunswick, Calgary, and I think one show in BC, something like that.
Okay.
But either way, so there's a promoter that we work with, SK Promo. So he basically hooked us up with an artist, Adrienne is her name, and she has a couple of tracks out there. So we actually DJ'd for her. She was the
Nice.
opening act
Nice.
before Peter Jackson, and Peter Jackson kind of opened up for Fetty. But yeah, man, so we were out there in Barrie doing our thing, and it's pretty good, man. It's
dope.
pretty cool.
We gotta check out that Adrienne artist.
Yeah. I'm gonna actually during our mini mix, I'm gonna drop some of her tracks.
Okay.
Yeah. So she'll
Nice.
get out there. But yeah, man, it's a pretty nice vibe. And Tuesday, man, we're ready.
Alrighty then.
That's how it goes. Later today, though, after the show, actually the same promoter, SK, he's doing a barbecue. So that's gonna be kind of like in the south side of downtown Toronto.
Okay.
And yeah, man, that's it.
All right.
Chilling vibe.
Shout out SK.
That's how it goes. So you guys are listening to Agree to Disagree. Make sure you guys tell a friend how it goes down each and every week. We are about to get into one of our major segments of the show, so we ain't gonna waste no time.
The Breakdown. The Breakdown.
Yeah. So you guys know what time it is. First class, you up?
Well, it's an unfortunate tradition here, I guess you could call it. Same thing every week. We start with another murder. Another teenage boy was killed last night around the Bellamy area. He was shot. They rushed him to the hospital, but unfortunately, it was too late. And yeah.
Wow.
So RIP to him. There are also 2 shootings in the West.
Wow.
One was by a club close to Kiel, and the other was at a house party. And yeah, lucky for those 2 victims, they are living. It is non-critical injuries, but man,
It's nonstop.
I don't know what to say. Summer's over and it's still continuing.
Still
like,
continuing.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Gotta put these guns down.
for sure.
What else we got? Toronto Council meeting. I believe it's happening today, but for sure the weekend. Doug Ford has been on this mission to get council cut down, and they've been fighting back and forth, and today they're going into another deliberation to see if they can come to terms with it. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But they don't usually do weekends, so
Yeah.
Clearly, they're fighting for the jobs now that it's affecting them and not just the regular middle person.
For sure, for
You know
sure.
what I mean?
I seen too with Doug. He's gonna. There's a clause that he could potentially use to overwrite or overrule.
He tried to use it.
Oh, he tried to. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But that clause would pretty much make it that they can't dispute any sanction he puts forward
Yeah.
for 5 years, I believe.
Okay.
Right. So it was basically a way to show him that you can't touch me.
Yeah.
But then they declared that it doesn't fall into this category.
Mm-hmm.
So they're ruling against that.
Mm.
So he tried it. It didn't work. Or at least right now it didn't work.
Yeah.
right?
They're trying to loophole things.
So we'll see where that goes. We'll
Okay.
try and pay attention to it.
All right.
RBC has a race for kids today.
Mm-hmm.
They've been doing it for 6 years. I believe it's 15K, 7K, and 5K that they run.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they're bringing proceeds to mental illness that gets treated at Sunnybrook Hospital. So I think it's a very good cause. Mental illness
It's pretty big.
it's taking over the world, man.
Mm-hmm.
So we gotta do better with that as well. Mostly talking about it and figuring out what our mental illness is.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe that we all somehow, somewhere, we all got mental illness, whether it's depression, something else. You know.
Yeah.
No winner for Lotto Max. Did you guys buy a Lotto Max ticket?
Nah, I didn't even.
I haven't bought it in 3 weeks, and I don't think I'm gonna buy it for the 4th because there's a lot of no winners.
Makes no
You know what I
sense.
mean? You're getting my money. I am not getting yours.
Yeah, true.
So I don't know about that.
I'll stick to my scratch tickets.
Right?
At least I have a chance there.
Crosswords. Shout out the crosswords.
Yeah, I played a lot of those.
Drake.
Drizzy.
Aubrey. He's now dating an 18-year-old. Supposedly, anyway. It hasn't been confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
But he's now dating an 18-year-old model, Bella Harris. So I think that we're going to get into how we feel about certain things like this. But with just barely scratching the surface, what do you guys think?
Drake's
I don't know
roughly
how old Drake is.
mid-30s, I think.
Yeah, I would
Early
say
30s?
mid-30s.
Early 30s, I think.
Early 30s. I mean, here's the thing. I believe I don't know how long she's been modeling, but obviously if she's in the modeling world, she's going to be exposed to a few things.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe her mentality might be a little bit older.
Okay.
So maybe in his situation,
Mature in mind.
yeah, it might be okay due to the nature of their business and stuff that are happening. But
Okay.
For me, it's like I don't know, man. I want to see the confirmation first before I speak on
Fair
it
enough.
too much. You know,
Fair enough.
I'm not
Yeah.
into the back and forth.
He say,
talking.
she said.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fair enough. Brad Pitt has now made a stop on the breakdown. His Make It Right campaign, or foundation, I should say, have been sued or are getting sued because they have put up faulty houses to help Hurricane Katrina.
Faulty houses.
Faulty houses. So I
What
guess
is-
it's not good publicity. I guess pretty much they're swindling the money while putting up houses that can't benefit the victims.
oh,
But I mean, I've been hearing about stuff like this for a long time.
For a long time.
UNICEF, all those things.
yeah.
Watch Ozarks, man. We talked about this already.
Bro, facts.
Shows you the game. Shows
Yeah,
you the
we
game.
need some birds. Mr. and Mrs. Birds. Botham Jean or Botham Jean. Do you guys know who that is?
No.
Okay. So you guys do know who he is. You just don't know him by name. That
Okay.
is the victim that got shot by the officer when she entered his house mistakenly.
Oh yes, now I know who we're talking
Right.
about.
We touched on it before. Anyways, his lawyers are furious right now because the cops issued or released a warrant to search his place and found marijuana, and they're making a deal about it. But
This is after he got shot.
of course,
Wow.
because you have to set up a scenario, right, to cover some tracks.
Yeah.
So that's what's being happening in the last week. And yeah, they're trying to. I don't know.
No,
I
it's
don't
not
know.
new. They spin it the way they want to spin it. Man.
Yeah, for sure.
It's nothing new.
For sure.
I wouldn't even say it's a far stretch to say there wasn't even marijuana in there before they went in there. So it's like
I don't think that's a stretch at all. I think it's a stretch to say that there wasn't marijuana.
exactly. So it is what it is, man.
Yeah. New report says that African Americans are homeschooling more of their children to teach them more about Black history, which I think is a pretty good benefit if you have the time to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing, but
Yeah.
if you have a job that, you know, supports you being home all the time, you doing your work, and you could do that too, shouts to you, man. That's great.
I mean,
I think it's cool.
I think that's cool, but I still think you need the balance though, because if you're homeschooling and only teaching Black history, the majority of the world is learning white history. So when you go out into the world now, it's going to be like you're lost.
No, I think that they're teaching both.
Oh, they're teaching both, but they're adding.
Right,
Okay, that makes
right.
sense.
Or yeah.
Because you have to know your history, whether you're
Yeah.
Black, white, Scottish,
Yeah.
English, Canadian, whatever. You need to know your history.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia just passed a new law or a new permit so that a school in Georgia can now discipline your kid by spanking them with the wooden paddle.
They're going backwards.
I guess so.
Circle of life, man.
I guess so.
Everything comes back around.
I just feel like at this point in time, I don't know if I'm cool with it. Because, one, I'm giving you permission to hit my kid. When you already had a problem with me hitting my kid. first off.
Yeah.
And two, there's too much mistreatment for me to believe that you disciplined my kid because they were misbehaving.
Yeah.
And that's
for sure.
perception too. Like, does that mean that if you see my child talking to another student, you could just hit them?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to hit you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, that's not happening over here.
yeah, that opens a can of worms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let me hit my kid though, if I choose to.
Yeah.
You know, don't let like you're learning the school, but you have a problem with me doing it.
Mhm. I see where you're coming from.
Right? So it is the circle of life, but they're going far left before
Yeah.
coming center.
Yeah.
What else we got? A lawyer in the States refuses to cut his locks as he was asked to, and he said no, he's going to try and change the perception of successful Black men.
Okay. I was like,
okay.
locks, or
Yeah.
cut-
Dreadlocks,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Dreadlocks. Sorry, guys.
I got confused there for a
Yeah.
minute. But yeah, now we on the same page.
So,
Wait, sorry, back it up. You say he was ordered to cut them?
well, they asked him if he could cut his hair.
Probably the firm.
And he refused. Right.
Oh,
the
okay,
firm
okay.
asked if he could cut his hair, and he refused to. And
This is before or after they hired him? He's already working?
he's already hired. Right?
It's too late for that,
right? But it is a big stigma. I think it's more of a stigma with Black females from what I've heard and what I've kind of seen. But it is a stigma within our community for sure that we have to, have our hair low
Look
cut.
a certain way, clean.
You can't have
cut,
any braids or
Yeah.
anything
Mhm.
like that. You have to have it straight or curly to a certain way or
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And it is true. You need to be your own self.
Yeah.
And again, that goes for anybody. Again, I feel like if you wear a nose ring, if you're a white lady that wears a nose ring,
Mhm.
you should be that white lady that wears that nose ring.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not asking you to change who you are. I'm asking you to do a job.
Yeah.
So
If
no
you
matter
do
how
your
you
job
look,
well.
you could do the job well, then
Why does
who
that
am I
matter?
to tell you to change, right?
Yeah.
So
So would you say women with dreadlocks or men with dreadlocks, they both experience the same thing, or it's a little bit worse for the other, one or the other?
I can't answer that because I don't know personally.
Yeah.
And I think that another reason why I can't answer that because a lot of men and women will change that.
Will change to get the job?
Right.
Okay, I follow you.
I feel like if you have dreadlocks, it's a little different
Mm-hmm.
because obviously it takes years to grow dreadlocks.
Mhm.
So, but like braids, I know a lot of girls that if they have their hair braided, they'll take their hair out and get it permed or put in weave to make it look a certain way because they feel that they can't walk in there with their braids.
Looking that way. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I think that it goes back to what we said before. It's a stereotype, right?
Yeah.
And we
Okay.
just gotta do something to overcome the stereotypes and show a different perception.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Hurricane Florence. I mean, there's not a hurricane that's not powerful. There have been many reports of hurricanes, but this one is doing just like the others, man. 500,000 out of power due to Hurricane Florence. 2 confirmed deaths, and it's still going.
Mm-hmm.
So, prayers out to those families, and yeah.
That was just about to hit Florida's. Well, it hit Florida already,
Right.
and it's now moving up the coast. Or
The only thing that's good is that it's slowing down.
oh, okay.
And it's slowing down tremendously. Like, I believe it's at a Category 1 now.
Oh,
which is doable, let's say.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
I can't say that
It's still something.
it's nothing,
Yeah.
but it's doable.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I mean, that's good news. But for the ones that have suffered already, we send our prayers out to you guys, man.
For sure.
It definitely sucks. Colin Kaepernick to be inducted to his high school Hall of Fame on the athlete wall. I don't know how I feel about this one.
I feel like why isn't he already there?
Right. And that's why I don't know how I feel about that one.
Why is
I
it not
feel
right
like
there?
now you're trying to go off the exposure
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
while you were waiting before. But he went to your high school.
Yeah.
From
God,
when he
you can't change
started.
that. Yeah.
From when he got drafted, he should have been on that
Right.
wall. Like,
Drafted, but that's just something you can't change.
Yeah.
Regardless of what he does in his life, career, whatever it
Yeah.
is right now, he was
Yeah.
there.
yeah.
So I have mixed feelings about this one.
Yeah,
I don't. For Kaepernick, I don't care. Yeah, at the end of the day, you're there now, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
I feel like keep trucking, my guy. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's one of those things, like you said, the exposure.
Yeah,
Nike's
yeah.
behind him now. It's kind of like
exactly. So now they're going with the flow.
Yeah.
Right.
we'll support him.
Speaking of Nike and Kaepernick, we all know about all these people cutting up socks and doing these things, and we said that it's not affecting anything.
Yeah.
Well, Nike has now hit numbers that they've never hit. To be exact, Nike sales have increased by 31% in the month of September and have also doubled, and store sales have doubled from what they made last year.
Good for Nike.
So, shouts to everybody that have bought Nikes in the last month. Shouts to everybody that supports Colin Kaepernick, because I haven't bought any Nikes, but I support him.
Mm-hmm.
And shouts to everybody that is going to get behind this movement. Again, I don't care what Nike's purpose was behind this. If their purpose was just to make money, go ahead and make your money, because what you're doing is bigger than money. Yeah, we need to be out there, and I think we're out there. So, shouts to Nike, shouts to Kaepernick, shouts to everybody that's supporting the movement. You know what I mean?
That's it. Nike, show those haters.
Facts. And that is the breakdown.
Yeah. So it was a good one. It was a good one. A lot of
Yeah, man.
information there.
Yeah, man.
Did you hear about the Boston? I think Boston had some couple house fires that went on.
I heard a little bit about it. I didn't hear too much information about it,
Yeah.
but I don't know exactly
Oh, okay.
how that happened, what started it. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. I mean, well, hopefully, maybe next show we can see if we get some information about it. But
Yeah, man.
yeah, we want to send our prayers to those families too, because I, from what I understand, a lot of people lost their homes and their houses, and
So was
it's
it like
like-
a forest fire, a wildfire?
no, I believe it's a gas leak,
Oh,
and it's like, you know how you have like a community,
Yeah,
like, it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
a gas leak
Yeah.
or a gas pipe that ran through the community, so it's
Yeah,
like,
they all got affected.
you know, 50, 60 houses
Damn.
basically were on fire, and a lot of
Okay.
people lost their homes, and you know, a lot of things that they worked hard to build, you know.
Yeah.
So we're sending our prayers to those families in Boston.
All
You know,
right.
Boston's been through a lot.
A lot of prayers sent out this week.
For sure. But I mean, yeah, that's the breakdown, first class to this thing. You are inside Agree to Disagree. We do this each and every week. And yeah, we're about to get into the mini mix, so don't go nowhere.
Hopefully you kill it like last week, boy.
Nikki on the track.
Ay, yeah, baby. Ay, ay. Baby, won't you come my way? Got something I want to say. Can I keep you on my way? But first off, I'ma start by saying this. Ay, all headshots, if you think you can take my bill. Ay, and I'm too touch and I won't blink. I never really care what the these niggas think. I got deep pockets, I swear my shit so sick. And he mad as hell, big Sue up on she sing. And he mad as hell, big Sue up in her dreams. When he mad as hell, when they say she scream for me. Big Sue up, what the niggas should be. Baby, won't you come?
Heels on, bands up, heels on. Now she got what he missing. She killing all the competition. She know what he missing. You want it, he gon' need permission. Why you on this? No, never been as good as this. Damn, now you on a mission. Yeah, tryna get it 'cause it's different. Hair long, nails long, face on, high heels on. Smoke, drink, lies, pills, anything for thrills, she gone. Hey baby, with them high heels on. Keep going till tonight's your song. See you shining in the spotlight. Make them keep them coming all night long. You gon' make them throw them bands up. Heels on. Bands up. Heels on.
It's Gucci Man and Adriana. We in Chi-Town at Club Adriana's. The way she put it down, I'll make you pull up on her. And I got to get her. I mean, I really wanna. Throwing bands like I'm Russell Wilson, tryna avoid a blitz. Baby, GPS, my pimpin', coming me at the Ritz. I admit, this the best that this chick might ever get. Don't care if you rich, still be like you too much back on your rent. She put a spell on me on spellbound, man, this might be a witch. Look at the tail on her 6-inch heels, I love the way she switch. I'm throwing mail on, I'm ballin' like Big Meech 2006. I'm fresh as hell on, I look like I just sold 2,000
Hey
bricks.
baby, with them high heels on. Keep going till tonight's your song. See you shining in the spotlight. Make them keep them coming all night long.
17, we ain't playing. Hey, 15 car garage. Hey, still ain't enough. Hey, bank account got the most. Hey, I saved bread from the start. Hey, show money for 15. Hey, now changed a lot. Hey, 6 houses, 20 cars. Hey, $700,000 on some jewelry, I didn't know it. Living large. Hey, all of them push start. Hey, weed stain like a fart. Hey, red dot got a mark. Hey, lay a flower in the car. Hey, fake tough, he ain't hard. Hey, I was way smarter than this. Hey, I got way farther than this. Hey, I ain't play cards with these. Hey, I ain't chill out, I ain't take numbers, I ain't play a part of these. Hey, it was RGF, either win or lose, but still sharking these. Hey, Benchy barking these. Hey, I pull up parking these. Hey, I was never friendly, it was never me say real, recognize real. Hey, I ain't selling for no deal. Hey, banked up a couple mil. Hey, me and 4K for real. Hey, pull up on your big wheels. Hey, eating big meals. Hey, all day big food.
I don't got no type. Bad is the only thing that I like. You ain't got no life. Cups with the ice, and we do this every night. I ain't check the price. I got it. I make my own money, so I spend it how I like. I'm just living life. And let my mama tell it, I ain't living right. Chop the top off the Porsche, that's a headless horse. Extendo long as an extension cord. Damn. I ball like Jordan, and I play full court. And if you're not my type, then you know I gotta keep it short. What you know about a chick? What you got up in your pocket? What you spending when you shopping, dog? Why you wanna go flex like you all in the mix, like you got some popping off? I got some models that you see up in the movies and they wanna make a flick for the camera. Yeah, wanna be Kim Kardashian. Heard I was living like a bachelor. I don't got no type. Bad this is the only thing that I like. You ain't got no life. Cups with the ice, and we do this every night.
I put my money up. Damn. Now I can't re-up. Ran up in his spot just to get my stats up. Now I'm back on deck. So shout it, what the fuck you want? Heard he talking shit, but this ain't what the fuck you want. Lock my CEO up. Now it's back to talking shit, bruh. Hang 'em by the rope, hit 'em with the, call that shit hot llama. Call me Waka Flocka, aka Young Wildness. AKA
You're
Young
listening to Toronto's insane
In the track all night with the hardest song. Fast on the floor, watch keep order with it. Shift it to the left and he shifts to the right. So us the brick boys got it all night. These lame, they ain't got no fight. Kick in my door, we gon' shoot out all night. Home with a brace, try to shoot it with a K. Oh, they do it. Hey, oh, they do it. Hey, oh, they do it. Yeah. True, telling music. Hey, I influence. Hey, I influence. Yeah. Oh, they do it. Hey, oh, they do it. Hey, oh, they do it. Yeah. True, telling music. Hey, I
DJ Twisted Minds.
I don't know what these speaking of. I don't know what these tripping now. Don't touch my cause I suggest you don't. Boy, if you do, you must be suicidal. Don't say my name unless you're suicidal. Don't get too close unless you're suicidal. Don't touch my cause I suggest you don't. Boy, if you do, you must be suicidal.
Money won't ease us. Man, even headed on Jesus. Living life on the road on the chase for the money cause the won't please us. Jesus told us the blood on the leaves. Ain't no love in the streets. Let her run into me and she wanted to me. Now she with a G. Got your not wanting to speak. Hold up. Y'all mom try shit on us. Chain all lit all up. Push with the like get on up. And my got that shit on her. Rock ball mangs, I'm ballin'. I put red bottoms on red models. And no more red bottles. Straight bad legs, everybody say Rick and Rose, we in here. Double MG, we been here. Straight from the north side, right by the projects. How did I get here? Sipping on lean with a bad from the hill, right there. And get money like me. And the flow go wet, these swimwear. Hold up.
Yeah. That's how it goes down each and every week inside Agree to Disagree. That was the mini mix, and we hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said before, Fetty Wap has a couple concerts going on, so make sure you guys check it out. And large up to the artist Adriana, big up herself. That I played her second track, my mini mix. It's called High Heels. Gucci Mane's on it, so she's doing her thing, man.
Speaking of your list there, I see that you ended with Meek Mill.
Yeah.
I have reintroduced myself to Meek Mill. I was off it for a while, but I'm trying to get back on that Meek Mill train.
Yeah.
Drake and Meek Mill hugged, and now you're cool.
Yeah,
To listen to him again.
I'm Toronto, man.
That's how it goes.
I go hard for mine, you dig?
No, it was one of those things, especially for myself. Like Meek had some stuff. He can spit. Sometimes he talks some real lyrical type stuff.
Yeah.
So I've always been a fan of artists who can tell a story and they're good at it. And I think Meek Mills has that.
Yeah.
I think he is a good artist. I'm not gonna take that away from him. I just don't need him to yell at me all the time.
Yeah, he's angry. He's been through a lot.
Like, oh, wait, I get it, but you don't yell at me.
Yeah.
But nah, I like Meek.
That's how it goes.
And yes,
That's how it goes.
I am Toronto, so yes. Now that they hugged, we can make up as well, Meek.
Don't worry, I feel you. I feel like I can play his music now.
Yeah,
People will be
you know
like,
what I mean?
yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Before they'd be like, yo, you got Drake lined up after that Meek Mills track?
I really held up and waited a minute.
Yeah, it was a beef thing still.
Yeah, it wasn't happening. OVO.
That's how it goes. Here inside Agree to Disagree.
Yeah, man.
And make sure you guys tell your peoples, your friends, your family. We do this each and every week. Check it out. You can look at us on Instagram, A2D the show, Twitter, Google Play, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We all over YouTube. Just look us up.
Just Google us.
That's it. So after the mini mix, we get into segments, and this is the main one. This is the one where we do our thing, where everybody, make sure they listen. So I ain't gonna waste no more time.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for this week's main topic. On Urban Hype Radio.
Yes. So we are about to have some heavy convos this week, and we got Forte who's gonna introduce us to these convos.
Yes. I thought you were gonna switch it up and make me introduce you.
No.
Yes. As always, here, Agree to Disagree. This topic today, we slightly scratched the surface in the breakdown earlier today. Hopefully you guys are tuning in from the beginning, and you would know that we touched on, Drake possibly dating an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
And that kind of sparked this topic that we have coming up today. And the question I have is, how old is too old and how young is too young? Now, there's a lot of age gaps, and with age gaps come maturity gaps. But in my point of view, before I even pose a question, I'm gonna give kind of my opinion this time. I want to switch it up too.
Yeah,
So-
like that. Like that.
I'm the only one not switching it up.
Yeah. You gotta hop on board, man.
All right.
So I see pictures of certain individuals that are much older than I am.
Right.
For example, Halle Berry.
Right.
She still looks like she's in her prime.
Yeah.
True.
Would I date Halle Berry, even though she's probably maybe at least 10 years older than me,
Yeah.
bare minimum? Quite possibly.
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
But that's 10 years. What about 20 years? See, that's where we're going. Like, how old is too old? Like, we'll start with you, First Class. What is the oldest as far as age gap that you feel comfortable dating?
Damn.
It's a good question.
I had a pretty firm stance until you brought up the Halle Berry line.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I might have to make some exceptions right now. But
So I'm thinking, I mean, it's how you look at these people, right? So like a Halle Berry, like if I had Halle Berry on my arm, I'm like, I got Halle Berry on my arm.
yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's all about mentality, as in what you can mentally take. So for me, I think it would be weird to have a woman the same age as my mom, right? And then on top of it, my mom's now looking at it like, wait a minute, you're dating somebody the same age as my son,
Yeah.
right? So you're gonna have that backlash. However, if you truly love the person, I'm not one to judge, but for me, that would be the biggest hurdle. Not just for my mom, for my dad, for my aunt, like all looking at it like, wait a minute, don't you think he's a little young, and don't you think she's a little old? So,
So is it more so other people's perspectives that
it's
would
not
influence?
just that. That's part of it, but even like, wait, I'm just getting to the stage of my life. What do you mean you're going through menopause? Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what? I'm still working and now you're retired?
Yeah.
So now what? When I'm 40 or 50, you're in a home? Like it's just, you're at complete different stages in your life. And that's what I feel with the Drake thing. I feel like, so she's starting college and you're on a different tip in life because you've gone through your college years or that stage in your life where you feel like, oh, I'm 20, I'm invincible. And she's not even that age. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean you can't go to a club? What are you guys doing together? What do you mean she can't drink? I mean, obviously you can buy her alcohol, but the only
Well, I
thing
guess
that this
was
girl
like the
can do
Tyga
is
and
vote.
Kylie thing, huh?
I mean, yeah.
Like you tried to hide it to make it seem like, oh, that's not happening, and then
Yeah.
as soon as she hit the age, it's like, okay, yeah, it's happening.
Yeah.
I mean,
And again, like when you bring up, like you look at Kylie and you're like, she's bad.
Yeah.
Like she's fire.
Yeah.
But her age don't change. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Yeah, for me, I think it'd be a no. I think the only way that it would work for me is if I somehow knew this person before and then that relationship.
so you're
Just
saying like one of your
manifested.
mom's friends?
Well, I know my dad's had some friends that I would tell you. They're in their prime still. And I believe relations are different than relationships.
Oh, okay. I feel you.
So I think I'm going a little bit too much before you guys answer your question.
Okay.
So I'll
I just want to. I'll hop in on here. I don't. For me, I think it's all about perspective, man. Because it's weird. Because we're talking about big, like 15, 20-year gaps.
Yeah.
But if you look at like a 5-year gap,
yeah.
if you're 30 and they're 25, that's soft.
Yeah.
But if you're 20 and they're 15,
Yeah.
that's a problem.
Because of what I said, right? Because now they're starting high school and you're going to college, or you might
Just
be
different
done
stages of
college.
life.
But it's not even just what they're doing. It's just, I guess, mentally has a big
Yeah.
impact. But I think age, once you hit a certain age, for me personally, if you feel that, like I'll use 21 as an example.
Right.
If you hit 21, at that point, it's like it doesn't really matter what the age gap is in my
Right.
books, because at least you're old enough, wise enough to make your own decisions.
Right.
You know what I mean, if it's like a 15-year-old talking to a 21-year-old, that's not fair. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mentally, that's not fair.
But I still feel like you're young and stupid at 21. You know what I mean? Like you still feel reckless. You still most likely are living living at home. You still don't know certain things in life that even right now, as a 33-year-old male, there's still things that I'm learning. So how can you now know?
Well, it depends
Right.
on the person, I think.
And
right? 'Cause-
maturity and
yeah, exactly.
experience,
Because a 33-year-old you and a 23-year-old somebody else could still be on the same
same,
maturity
for
level
sure.
based
For
on
sure.
experiences, right? So,
But do you remember Mal? If you guys don't know who Mal is, I know Forte knows who Mal is, but if you don't know Mal, Mal's now doing a show with Joe Budden. So shouts to Mal. Mal and Rory are the co-hosts, but Mal has been around for a long time, and Mal brought up a very good point before. He said, for our age bracket, if you weren't alive when Biggie and Tupac died, then you're too young for me. And that's how I feel. Like if there's certain events in life
like
that
97.
happen, right? Like if there's certain events in life that happen and you don't know about it,
Yeah.
then you're not for me. Like,
I mean-
what do you mean you don't know who the Muppet Babies are?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like certain
yeah.
things is like, what
Yeah,
are
I
we
guess
gonna talk
yeah,
about?
it's just about what connects you to
Yeah.
if you guys weren't experiencing
You
the
know
same
what I mean?
stuff. Yeah.
Like, what
Okay.
do you mean now? Because I'm dating this older lady, I have to teach you how to use a laptop. You don't know what Google is?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's different,
Show her to bank online.
right? Right?
Oh,
Like, what do you mean you counted Roman numerals? Yeah, like certain things like that. Like,
Okay.
I don't know.
So, okay, based on what you said, First Class. So is that a no to Holly Berry?
No, I'm sorry, Holly Berry. I would say that it's an exception for relations, or not even an exception because I could
Yeah,
have
okay.
relations.
Okay.
But even Holly Berry on other tips is a hard one for me. Again, I'm sorry, because everybody says she's crazy. So now she's older and she has a perception. I'm not saying she is.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
has a perception of that. So now I have to go over one of my exceptions and then take a chance that she's not crazy.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
You know
I
what
got
I
you.
mean?
I got you. Too much at stake.
So yeah,
Too much at stake. Okay,
Holly
I got
Berry
you.
is definitely not a good example for me.
I got
I
you.
get
I
it
got
though,
you.
because she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But you know what they say, man.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. For myself, wow. So, I mean, I think there is a age limit.
Right.
I don't know what it is in terms of. I think maybe I might be okay with about 10 years difference.
Yeah, I'm okay with 10.
Okay.
I think I
okay
can
with
do 10.
Yeah.
I think once I start getting over that, like same thing, I got to start making exceptions to, certain things or my expectations and stuff like that. So, yeah, 10 years.
But again, I think it goes back to what Superfly said. If it's like you're 41 and she's 31, I think that's almost the same thing.
41, 31.
But 31, 21, there might be a bit of a difference.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we say that because we're not 41 yet. So
Maybe.
we can't say how we're gonna mentally feel
Well, I
at
could say I would
41.
date a 41. No problem.
No, but I'm
No.
saying when you're 41 to date a 31.
No, I'm
yeah.
agreeing. I'm just saying
Yeah.
at my age,
Yeah.
I
you
could
would be
date-
a div.
Yeah.
But a 41 may not think that about you.
Yes, they would.
Oh, man. I like where this convo is going already.
Don't do that.
So, I'm going to pose a question. What do you think? Is there a difference between men and women where this is concerned?
That's a very good question
That
because
is.
they do say women mature faster than men.
Mm-hmm.
So if an older man dates a younger woman, it's more likely that their maturity level will be more on par.
Mm.
I don't know. I think that when men that are older date younger women,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of women get mad at it because it looks like, in their perspective, he's a pervert. He just wants a younger, better thing. And they give all these reasons. And then when a woman does it, I think they make it by perspective more that she's more desperate or something like that. When in actuality, what I've heard is that based on what Forte just said, that they're more mature, and those women at that age, when they're looking for younger guys, know exactly what they want. So it might be that they want more sex, and they feel that younger guys will perform better than older guys.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It could be other things, but I think taking that side of it away, it's the same for me, whether it's a man or a woman.
Okay. So the age gap is ideally the same. It's
In
not
my
like
books.
a man should be able to date 20 years either which way, and a woman, let's say 10 either which
I
way.
feel like, who am I to say who can date who?
Yeah. But I mean, just more acceptable.
In my books, I'm not for it.
Okay.
Right?
Got you.
As far as more acceptable, I don't know. It's hard to say what's acceptable because that's just based on society, right? It's
Right.
based
Yeah,
on
yeah.
how society
And
looks
the
at
times
it.
of
Yeah,
society.
exactly. So, like the way society is set up right now, it's or how it seems like it's always been is that an older man dates younger women. That's kind of, the view that society puts on it. But it definitely flips the other side because there's a lot of older women that date younger men too. But again, to me, it just goes back to maturity level, man, because I think there is a difference because a 31-year-old woman dating a 21-year-old man, I don't know, man. A 31-year-old woman, you should be pretty, at the stage of life where it's like, okay, I have things in order. I want to settle down. But a 21-year-old man is not going to be at that stage. So it's like,
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard to say.
So for me, I think personally, I don't think that there is a difference. What I do think, though, I think, and Forte, you touched on this, I think society there's a little bit of a swing. And the reason why I say that is I feel like before, older women, if they were dating a younger man, it was kind of like on a hush-hush, like, come by my house, we do a thing, or like, kind of like that, the boy next door type of vibe.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas now I feel like women are kind of more about that. Like they're like, yeah, I want a younger guy. And then their friends kind of promote that. They're like, what? You got a young buck in there. You know what I mean? So they kind of push that forward. And, I feel like I see it more versus it was kind of before. I think it was more like in the closet, whereas now it's more out in the open. It's like, yeah, I date younger guys, or I want a younger guy, or whatever the case may be. Whereas before, I felt like a lot of women wanted an older man because they felt like an older man could provide, add the security and that type of stuff. You know what I mean?
But I think the swing is that women are a lot more independent now than they've been in the past.
Right.
So it's like now I don't need that older man to provide for me because I could provide for myself.
Right.
So now I'll take the younger guy.
True. So, yeah, man, there's been a little bit of a swing there.
Yeah.
I hear what both of you guys are saying. I still think it comes down to everybody's own perception. But you're right. Society creates what they want, and our society is different than like Middle Eastern society. And
Yeah.
That's a whole nother ball game.
For sure.
So what about on the topic of old or young? When is too old or when is too young? When is, in your opinion, too old to have children or decide to have children?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
All right. So, when is too old to have kids? So I don't think there should be, I think, necessarily a number, but what I do think is that maybe there's an age range. So I would say anywhere, I want to say after your I want to say 50s. So in between, I think I'm going to say like mid 50s. Mid 50s, I think is if you're having your last child like around mid 50s. And it's not really even a limitation thing. The only thing that I kind of see with it is the involvement that you would have with that child growing up, because now you're older in age.
Good point,
You know what I mean? So in terms of, going to field day trips or just teaching them how to ride a bike, or you know what I mean, like those being involved kind of parent type things. I feel like the older you get, obviously those things are going to become harder, you know what I mean? And ideally, when your child is, let's say, so you said mid-50s, let's say when your child reaches 20, you know, on that, you're not really, you're, what, at that age, you're probably about 75.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like that child never really got the fair opportunity of the parenting
Yeah.
portion of it. So that's why I would say that, or that age. But I mean, I don't think people they can do what they want.
People can. I kind of agree with you though on even the age though. The age that you picked, like mid-50s. Me personally, I feel that's still too old.
Yeah.
Personally, for the
But we're talking about limits, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, but yeah, just for the exact same reason that you said, because you're not going to be in tune with that child. The gap is just too far, so it's going to be hard to relate to that child. So when that child, like you said, is 20, and you know, especially when kids coming up, they need advice. They need to be able to relate.
yeah.
So they're not going to be able to get that from you
True.
because you're just not in tune with what's going on in their life or at that stage of their life. So me personally, I would I would not want to have children after, I'd say mid-40s. Like I wouldn't want to do anything after mid-40s.
Yeah.
Because one, again, it's the age gap between myself and the child, but also the older you get, the more complications you have having children as well for females. For females, because we don't have a clock as men, but females do have a clock. Like so you think about complications. It's like, do you really want to put yourself through that? So yeah, for me, I'd say like mid-40s would be my max.
Yeah, man. It's one of those things too. Like when you just kind of think about, like, even at the age that I put, 55. Let's say your child's now 25. That puts you at the age of 80. So if your child's having a child at 25 and you're 80 as a grandparent, like you can't really help
at the age of a great grandparent. So
yeah, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things, like your child can't really depend on you, whether it be to you know, help or look after that child, because that child might actually be looking after you at that age. You know what I mean?
Exactly it. That's exactly
so
it.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, First Class, in terms of?
I feel like you got touched on a lot of things. I think that one thing that might be a benefit for a little bit is that they are retired. That's kind of one way to look at it. That at that age, if you're retired, you have more time to devote to the child in the early age. However, in the later ages, I think you guys pretty much put it all in perspective. One big thing for me with my daughters, I hopefully want to be there when she gets married so that I can walk her down the aisle. That's very important to me. Mm-hmm. But if I was 60, 70, that's less likely than the age I'll be now.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, even now, let's say within 30 years, but maybe like 25 years from now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll still be at a good enough age where not only can I support her in certain things, but I should be good physically to do certain things as well.
Yeah.
Right? But when you put an age on that, I think it completely changes everything.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even with that being said too, I think it also changes a lot. And when I say changes a lot, in terms of the later on that you have kids in life, then there's, I don't want to say it affects other things, but there's other things in life that are happening.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
sure.
and so let's say you have multiple kids, right? Like how spread out are they? Are they 10 years apart? Are they 5 years apart?
Right.
That type of stuff, right? And then obviously that now leads into you know, whether it be nieces and nephews and that type of stuff. So it kind of changes, I think, how certain things develop in life.
And that's a good point too, because then you'll have it where you can have 2 3-year-olds within the family, but one's an uncle, and it kind of, I mean, it's not really confusing, but it kind of throws certain things off. You know what I mean? Like, do I call him uncle? Because we're the same age. Like, why would I call him?
But I know you're. I think not hypothetically speaking. I think generally speaking, it doesn't make it confusing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it once again it depends on how it's set up. And I'll explain.
true,
The reason why I'll explain that is I think basically for me, I kind of went through the same thing. So my mom had me at 40.
Right.
So the age gap between me and my sister is 21 years. So my niece is about 3 years younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
So generally speaking, it was I grew up with my niece.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but
your sister.
and I mean, my sister, she, whether it be like, moved out or moved back home or whatever the
Yeah.
case may be. So once again, like my niece was more so like my little sister.
Yeah.
And then because of that, we went to the same public school.
Yeah.
So, I'm walking to school and people are like, how kids are. You're
Yeah.
talking and stuff like that. And they're like, who is this? And I'm like, that's my niece. And they're like,
Yeah.
what?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
So
as a kid, you would understand it. I mean,
Yeah.
as you get older, you kind of get that. But you're speaking from experience, so you could tell me, because my perception of this is having children so far apart. It also impacts that first child. So your sister, for example. So now, instead of being a child, she is now also responsible for taking care of you. Again, my perception.
Yeah.
So
Big
that
time.
happen?
Big time.
So yeah, so it's now, as a parent, you have this older child, but now you're giving this older child responsibilities of taking care of the younger child, because one, you're older in age. Two, you may need help, obviously.
Yeah.
Because parenting is hella hard. but it takes away from that child being a child, because now they got to grow up faster.
Yeah.
Because
It's,
they
it's
got to
true.
take care of
It's
this
true.
younger, this,
And
your younger
and
brother or sister. You know?
it even impacts the relationship.
I was just gonna touch
Absolutely.
on that.
Because like I was saying, me and my oldest sister 21 years and
Right.
my middle sister's 10 years.
Okay.
Right.
So naturally, when I was born, my oldest sister was 21.
Yeah. Right.
So she was on that stage of leaving home, leaving the
Yeah.
nest type of thing, right?
Yep.
So I never really grew up with my oldest sister.
Okay.
But my middle sister, we're only 10 years apart. So
Right.
in my head, she was always home. So I'm actually closer
Yeah.
Dude,
with
you're
my
right on.
my middle sister than my older sister,
Perfect.
right?
And that's exactly my situation.
Yeah.
So I have brothers that I'm 7 years, 12 years, 7 years, 14 years, and 16 years apart
From you.
from me.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So the 14 years and 16 years apart,
Yeah.
they're the closest.
Yeah.
And there's times when I want to do things with them, but it's that relatability bracket.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So they might not want to do what I want to do. I might not want to do what they want to do. And because of that, I still love them. They still love me. But those two are closer than me and them would be.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
of the age
Yeah.
bracket.
Yeah.
Which then brings me back to say, if I can say that about my brothers, then why would I want to date a girl their age?
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
So there's that relatable factor that's like,
Yeah.
what I mean?
How do you
Mm-hmm.
what compatibility do you have to close the age gap? Is
Right,
basically what it
like
is.
if we're sitting down and we're having a conversation and I'm just like, hey, I just want to know, like, who's your favorite artist? Guaranteed the artist that woman would say is not somebody that I'm going to agree with.
Yeah.
You know what I
Their
mean?
time's gonna be
And
basically
that-
before
and
your
that's
time.
something minuscule, but I mean, it's just to show you, like, you're a product of your environment, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Which is why when you were talking about the uncle and the niece, you wouldn't really notice it because that's just your environment.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still one of those things where it's like, how does this really work when we have so much apart because of our environment?
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
But, I mean, with that being said, I think the age definitely plays a factor, but opposites attract as well. So
That's
it's
true
like,
too.
just because you don't like something that I like doesn't mean that we can't still connect somewhere else.
For
you know what I'm
sure.
saying? So, and even like, it doesn't mean that maybe I don't like it because I just never cared to take it in. But now that I'm with you and
I
you
get a
play it all
different
the time,
perspective.
maybe now it's not so bad. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I don't think that plays so much a factor in when it comes to the age gap.
Mm-hmm.
That could be possible.
Yeah.
I think for me, one of the big things that would probably, I think, contribute to that is whether that older person has kids too.
Mm.
Because if that older person has
That's-
kids,
ooh.
That's huge. Yeah.
Then-
That's
Yeah.
big.
you know what I mean? There might be 5 years between her kids and me.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now what? Because that's a different. Listen, you ain't coming in 5 years. First of all, what are you doing? Second of all, you think you're gonna tell me something? Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah, so I think for me that would be a big one. If the older person that I was dating had kids and what ages they were, that would be a factor for sure.
And then what do you do when they want to have a kid on
That-
their own? Like, yeah, that's messy. That was wow.
Yeah, man.
Wow, you threw a banana peel in this one. That would be very interesting. Don't do that, Mom. Don't do that.
For sure. So, I mean, we talked about being old.
Mm-hmm.
What about the young portion of it?
I mean, I feel like
How young is too young?
Young is too young. Good point.
I guess it depends on what you're talking about. I feel like 15 is a good age to start dating, as in like figuring out certain things,
But when you say dating, you're talking about
like
50
harmless dating, like not real.
No. But that's what I'm saying. So let's say 15 is okay to date, but you're saying date in your age bracket. So another 15-year-old or
Correct.
another or like
Correct.
6, like you know what I mean,
Yeah,
within that
yeah.
age range.
Yeah.
Again,
Okay.
it all goes
Not
back to
15
society
dating
and
like
perception. When you're
18, 19.
There's not many 15-year-olds that are going to do that because it's also based on perception, right? I remember when I was in high school, there was a girl that I liked that was in grade 8, and I was in grade 10, I believe, and that was a no-no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's in
yeah.
public school.
Yeah.
High school.
Yeah.
But now you look at it, it's like,
Yo.
what
Well,
difference did that really make?
Yeah, well, that's, I
At
think
that-
at that
stage,
time it probably
yeah.
made a difference,
Yeah.
but
No,
now,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I feel like a 15-year-old will look at it like, no, like you're not even in the same school as me. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right?
But I think too, kids these days are looking older, man.
Definitely.
They are.
So I think
Sometimes they may try to hide it.
yeah,
That too.
and keep and you might end up in some situations,
Yeah.
man.
that too.
I remember me personally had no clue,
Mhm.
but I want to say I was maybe about 17,
Okay.
18-ish,
Mhm.
and went to Carabana, you know, doing my thing,
Right.
whatever, and saw a little girl. Well, not a little girl at that time.
Sounds like you know what you're talking about.
Saw a girl
Wow.
at that time. She was wearing like one of those cat suit, bodysuit type things,
So you were done.
and I was like, you know, I hollered at her, got the
Yeah.
number and stuff like that, and nothing really happened, but you know, we used to have phone conversations and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and I don't know what happened, but I believe her mom got a hold of my phone number or something like that. So she actually called my house and actually ended up having a conversation with my mom. Yeah, it was pretty intense. So I came home, I think it was like after playing ball or something like that, and my mom was like, "Did you know that girl was 13?" And I'm like, 13? I was like, whoa. I was like, nah, I didn't. Of course, if I knew that, I would have
wouldn't
never.
do it,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. At that time, when I looked at her physically and we had conversation, I could have never told that she was 13.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I
It's
think,
dangerous, man.
yeah, and especially for now, like in today's,
Why is these 13-year-olds at Carabana by themselves anyway?
I asked the same question.
That's a great.
I was like, why was
to
she
know.
dressed like that?
Yeah.
Why was she by herself? I was like, if that was my 13-year-old, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those things, man. And I think that, like, now I feel like people, it's hard to tell age, man. It's
Definitely,
really hard.
definitely.
Like, especially
gotta
with the
pull that
kids
idea
wearing
out,
makeup
Oh,
and
yeah.
doing this stuff, that
Yeah.
type of stuff.
You
And
just gotta go to the club. That's it.
No, that's fake IDs, man.
I
That's
don't
fake
care.
IDs.
That's good enough for me.
he said, if you figured out a way to get in here,
Yeah.
you good.
Because that security guard is supposed to know that that's a fake ID. I trusted him.
That don't hold up in court, bro. That doesn't hold up in court.
That's all right, man. That's all right. They need to fire him.
Yeah,
Come on,
man.
Cabana. Why you let her in
They
there?
might get fired, but you still going to jail. You still going to jail.
For sure. But yeah, no, I agree. Like when you're those ages, 15, 16, and you're dating within that age group, that's fine,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Because like you're saying, their mentality at that time is the same, which is cool. You guys can develop or whatever the case may be, but together.
But what about kids though?
What do
What
you
do
mean?
you mean?
Like having children.
Oh, yeah, we
You
gonna
said
get
how
there.
old is old. So
Yeah.
how young is young?
So like you mean like let's say
Having
for
children,
a lady to
having-
get
yeah,
pregnant,
yeah.
what's the
I think honestly,
That
I'm
depends,
not
too.
judging you if you did it before that.
Mhm.
I think 25 and under is too young.
Really?
25 and
Yeah.
under?
Yeah. I think
So
like,
I think not necessarily 25.
Mm-hmm.
I think once you've made those steps in life. So let's say high school's done.
Yeah.
High school now, you finish high school around 16, 17?
18, 17,
yeah,
18.
17,
right,
18.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've done that. let's say you've gone through like 4 years of college, university, or whatever the case may be.
22 roughly.
I think that's a decent age. Like once I think you've hit those milestones.
Yeah.
And you now want to start your life.
Yeah.
I think it's okay.
Here's why I'll disagree with you. Again, we're talking about acceptable.
Yeah.
I think acceptable is a different conversation, especially if you get pregnant at 19. There's no acceptable. You're pregnant.
Yeah.
If you're keeping it, then we need to accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
But reason why I say 25 and under is because with what you're saying, I feel like you're just starting your life. You need to travel. You need to know that partner that you're having that child with.
Yeah.
You need so all of those things could happen by 25. But I think even when you look at when they talk about having marriage before having a child, yes, it is biblical, but I also think that it's reality because, truth be told, you need to know your partner before you know your child. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, yeah, I definitely hear you.
I think a lot of people would agree that while you're having a child, your problem's not with the child, it's with the partner.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Most of the time, that's
So,
what it is.
At least if you've lived your life, you're not looking back and being like, damn, I should have did this or I should have done that. You know, live your life and then get to that point where it's like, okay.
So, I'll let Forte answer and then I'll jump back in.
I'm gonna kind of disagree with that statement there because I feel like, because from the way you're putting it, it's like once you have a child, you don't have a life.
No.
It's like you can't travel anymore. You
No.
can't do this anymore.
Right.
You can still do all those things with the child.
Right.
So I don't think like life experience is definitely important to have a child because you're now teaching this child. So you have to go through something. So when your child goes through something, you have to be able to help guide them through it. Age, though, I don't know. It's hard for me to say what age is okay because I know people that have had kids at 16.
And they're great.
And they're great right now.
Right. Great
job, travel, do all the stuff that you're talking about. And also, they're at an age where their child is very relatable to them.
Right.
So there's benefits of doing it that way.
For sure.
Obviously, it makes their life a lot harder at that stage at 16 because now you have a child, you still got to finish high school. You have a child, now you got to figure out how to go to college and have someone take care of the child or, it's harder to balance at that age, but it's definitely still doable.
I think with you saying that, though, that's just like us talking about single parents. Like, if you're 16, you're having a child and you're going to keep it, everybody's going to be like, oh, well, how did you do it? Because you had to do it.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to find a way to figure it out in order to do it. And on your other point, or the disagreement, you're right, but it's much harder. Or not much harder, but you just have to have a plan now. You can't call me today and be like, hey, let's go clubbing. And I'm going to be like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, wait, let me figure out Naya's schedule.
Yeah.
Figure out blah, blah, blah. And clubbing, to me, is not even what I'm talking. I just think that you should live your life, know your partner, and then have a child. And that does not mean an age, but I think that won't come until an average age of 25. That's just my point. You're right. You can definitely do all those things. We still go out all the time. And it doesn't really change much. It's just that now you have to check in and take a more responsible role.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you finish school at 21, then that gives you like 3 to 4 years to meet that person if you haven't met them already. 3 to 4 years to find yourself. 3 to 4 years to live through your experiences if you haven't gone through those experiences. Because I feel like, I'll use us as an example. I feel like our experiences, we got earlier than the average would. So we got that out of our system already. But there's still people that are at 30 just getting those experiences. So that's why I say that.
Okay. I hear you. Want to put some stuff out there. Just see if it changes the perception of the conversation or even just to get your view on it. So if we go back and let's say we go back in time. I mean, I feel like there was a process, you know what I mean? Like your kids, when they got to this whole, I want to say 17, 18, 19, and in the older days, they were being married off,
Exactly.
right? But now with, let's say, the age that you're saying, right? We're delaying that process
Right.
that used to occur. Do you think that we potentially are delaying the development of how life progresses? Because before it used to happen earlier,
Yeah,
whereas
that's
now
facts.
where it's happening later.
Yeah,
And then let's say another 25 years from now, we say, you know what, 25 is not,
Yeah,
it should
now
be
it's
30.
30.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
But
So,
again, going to my examples,
mhm.
in that, what I would put with that is
Yeah.
while older generations were having younger kids, things were also cheaper. You understand what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
again, if you're trying to get a house, now it's way different than back then. So now you're trying to get a house, trying to have a kid, trying to get married, or whatever order you want to put it in.
Yeah, usually they were married off first and then kind of.
But however order it goes in, right?
Yeah.
It's like that's a lot to put on a 23-year-old, a 24-year-old, 25.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying before it was happening on a 17-year-old, an 18-year-old.
But what I'm saying is at those times,
Yeah.
it was cheaper to live.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm
So
saying?
you're saying basically
It's harder to live now.
Yeah.
Like even at our age, it's harder to
Oh yeah.
buy a
It's-
house than it was back then.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Like,
crazy.
In my opinion, you're set up to fail right now on the house market side,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So even in that way, I look at it like give them a couple years to get their house,
Mm-hmm.
couple years to get married, have a kid.
I don't know, man. I think it's hard. It's never possible to have a perfect scenario.
No.
Like-
I'm not saying that.
But
No,
even,
yeah, you
even
can't.
your scenario, it's like, oh yeah, you go to college, 21, 22, 3-4 years, find your partner. What if you find a partner and that doesn't work out by the time you're 25? Now you're 28, 29, finding another partner. And it's like, okay, should I wait another 3-4 years so I can figure this out?
Or what if you
Now
didn't go
I'm
to college
33.
or university?
No, but you're now to me you're basing on something different. I'm not saying that at 25 you have to do that. I was saying that is like the lowest stage. So if
If you do it, he's saying if you do it after, then it's
No,
whatever.
I'm saying, what if you find your partner at 16?
but what if you're mature at 16?
But if you're mature at 16, you're saying still wait till 25.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying for the average,
Okay.
I would put it at because there's nobody here has a right to say what the actual age is, right?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
can all
yeah, for
agree
sure.
on that.
For sure.
So I'm just basing it in my head.
Yeah, yeah.
On an average, and my perception of the average is 25. You're always gonna have that exception of somebody like you said, the two people that had children at 16. We would all look at them and be like, "Oh my God, like really? You never lived your life, but maybe they're living their life.
Yeah, maybe.
now.
Yeah, maybe
They
they're doing it
can
now.
do it then.
And
Yeah.
now,
Right.
while we're 30 and we kind of have to slow down,
They're speeding up.
exactly.
Right.
So it's all based on
it's
Yeah.
perspective.
it's like you got to know what you want to do in life. That's the thing to
Yeah.
decide when it is you want to have a child.
That too.
Because whenever you have a child, regardless of what age it is, you got to now figure things out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And truth
The-
be told, at the end of the day,
Honest.
the best advice I give parents, anyway, is don't take anybody's advice.
Straight up. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And to be honest, I don't think even when you prepare for children, I still think you're still not ready.
absolutely.
No.
absolutely.
And with that being said,
Jerry
doesn't matter.
Jerry Seinfeld said it perfectly on Wale's track. He said, "You're never ready for change. It's something new. Like
Yeah,
you can't
yeah.
prepare for something new until it happens."
True.
So
Very true.
again, like I'm not standing firm. Like if Naya had a child at 24 or 23,
Mm-hmm.
oh, get out of the house. You're supposed to wait 2 more years. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it is
No,
what
that's,
it is,
that's
right?
extreme. Yeah,
Hopefully she has one at 32, but
yeah. 40.
right? But yeah, like I just look at it in my head as an average. Like, how would I look at it that you lived your life? Because that's one thing that I want for my child. No matter what age she picks, I want her to look back and be like, well, you know what?
I had a good.
I had a good run.
Yeah.
And you're
Life
right.
was good.
She can maybe not have a good run then, but
Yeah,
have a good run
later.
later.
After, yeah,
There's a lot
yeah.
of people, even retired people.
Of
Retired
course.
people are.
They live your life.
Exactly.
I feel like
You know
retired
what I'm
people
saying?
live life.
That's what I'm saying. So it
That's where they.
depends
That's
on-
where they're like.
Yeah.
We haven't got there yet, so we don't really know.
Yeah.
But like,
And that's another thing.
Yeah.
I can't talk on
exactly,
that, right?
exactly.
Because
Let me
it's-
tell you, my mom's retired and she look like she's living life.
Yeah,
Like,
but
my mom will
how
fly
much did your
in.
mom have to put in?
No, I know.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So-
Like she did the whole 2 jobs. You
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
we're coming home from school,
sure.
and so.
And-
Yeah, but now, man, she's flying here. She'll fly into Toronto, still spend 2 weeks, go on a cruise,
Yeah,
come
man.
back. It's like
all these snowbirds. Here. It's like, yeah, I'll be in Florida for the winter. I'll be back in the summer. Just park my car in the garage.
So it could definitely be the Benjamin Button effect where it goes backwards. But
So I mean, with some of the stuff that was said here, it's funny. I remember seeing this thing on TV, and I think it's similar or relates to some of the things we're talking about. So ideally, what was being said on the TV was And this is not calling out First Class. This is more so just using his
You could
age.
call me out. It's fine.
No, it's not even about calling it. So he's saying the age of, let's say, 25 is kind of to get things started.
Yeah.
Right.
So on the TV, it was a discussion about raising the age limit when it came to criminal offenses. Cause
Raising it?
Okay.
yeah, because what they're saying
As far
is
as like trying them as an adult,
yes.
Okay.
So right now, what is it after
I think like 16
16?
or something. Yeah.
No, I think it's at 12.
It depends. I think it depends on the crime though too.
No,
Okay.
actually, sorry, you got it right. But you cannot commit a crime. 12, like there's no juvie, no nothing.
Before 12.
Right. sorry.
After
But
12,
you gotta
yeah.
talking about trying as an adult.
Yeah. So
gotcha.
so what they were saying is at let's say the age of 21, there was arguments that I believe kind of where First Class is saying where your mentality is not as
Strong or mature.
basically at that adult level.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
at 20, 21, there's a potential for you to still feel invincible.
Yeah.
Feel like you can party all night. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that would, whereas let's say a 25 or 28-year-old will realize I can't do that and
Yeah.
function. Like I can party, but I know I need. You know what I mean? So
You're right.
So no, it's that, what I'm just saying. This is
No,
the conversation that
yeah,
they were
right,
having,
right.
right? So they were saying that maybe raising it, maybe not as far as 21, but even just raising it from
So, like
16.
18.
Yeah.
Just to say that during these ages,
Yeah.
you still might not be
I'm with.
fully
Mature enough to
Mature
to
enough,
know
yeah.
what you're doing. Kind
yeah.
I'm with Superfly on this one. It depends on the crime. I feel like at 16, I knew that if I shot somebody, they're most likely gonna die. You know what I mean?
So would you say that a 16-year-old should be tried as an adult?
Depends on the situation.
No, I'm saying based on that. It was what you just said.
Depends on the situation. Why did he shoot somebody?
But
Did
that
he
can't
go
be factored in though. It's you shot somebody
right?
and somebody's dead, so it's not why you did it. That doesn't change.
But it should, because if, for example, if it was self-defense, then self-defense. If you went in to rob a store and you shot somebody, then yeah, you should be tried as an adult.
But I feel like
But
that's
how-
gonna differ the crime. That's manslaughter, first degree, second
Okay.
degree. So all that stuff. That's gonna. But you're still gonna go to jail.
Oh, facts.
Okay. But
Facts.
it's just the length of time that you spend.
But I
in jail.
think that we're not arguing about, like, I would still call juvie jail. It's jail for teenagers. So
And I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying too, JT. Like, even with the system, I agree with that, because somebody that commits a crime, depending on the crime, at 16, and they now have to spend 25 years in jail for something that, like you said, maybe they're not mature enough to really know what the consequences of that action is really going to take. You know what I mean? So is that fair to that person?
well, again, put it in perspective in a different way. You're in grade 10 at 16.
Yeah.
Grade 10. So just think about your grade 10.
So
what you're
in grade
thinking
10,
about.
I made some dumb
So why-
decisions.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Of course.
Yeah.
How
I
many
mean-
smart ones did you think?
Right? Nearly as many.
Right?
So is that fair to that child to say your whole life is over now because
Right.
of that one decision you made when you're 16?
Right. And to put it even more in perspective, in grade 10 at my school, I was offered if I want to buy a gun and at a pretty cheap price. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, why not? I could
Yeah.
be cool with a
Yeah,
gun and I
yeah.
didn't pay,
Yeah.
$1 million
Yeah.
for it. Then now what happens,
Yeah.
right? Because forget killing.
Yeah.
What happens if I'm in my dad's car with a gun on my side and then now I get pulled over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm screwed. My dad's going to look at me like, what the hell are you
Yeah.
thinking? And I'm going to say, I don't know. I thought it was cool. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty much what it was, though.
Right.
Yeah.
There was no reason for it,
Right.
other than the cool
Why
factor.
did you buy it? Was it for survival? No. Was it for somebody threatening you or anything? No. Did you feel like you need to protect her? No. I just thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. I think, like you said, it depends on the crime. Like, because at the end of the day, if you kill somebody, that's affecting that person's family that you killed.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't just be get off scot-free, like 2 years. Okay, you made a bad decision now.
Right.
You know, it's over. Like, that other family's going to be affected forever.
So I know First Class said that it's based on, let's say, whether it's self-defense or, but I mean, I feel what we're doing is creating a gray area.
Yeah.
Even if you were
There is
to,
a gray area.
no. I understand that, but when let's say you're creating a larger gray area, because now we kind of, I think, say the same thing about, like, let's say cops. You know what I mean? They say they felt endangered or whatever,
Right.
so they
Yeah,
shoot
so
to
they
kill
shoot,
instead
yeah.
of shoot to wound.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
at 16, or in your scenario, why didn't you shoot to wound
Yeah.
Okay.
versus
Right. But then on the flip side,
Mm-hmm.
right? Why am I going to raise the age when younger and younger are the offenders?
I mean,
Right?
that's what's happening here in
Right?
Toronto.
Because when you're talking about a gray area now, then I would look at it like, oh, well, then now I'm just giving an excuse for all these younger children
To do these,
right?
yeah,
Because now they know that the penalty is not going to be as strong.
yeah.
Yeah.
Personally, if it was me, I'd make it lower.
But that's a
But-
yeah.
I would, and this is the problem, because initially I believe that everything starts good, and then it gets corrupt.
Okay, yeah,
So if it was a perfect world,
yeah.
I'd make it lower, like 14.
Mm-hmm.
But then obviously, when you come to the trial part of it,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to be as stern, depending on the cases, right?
Mm-hmm.
The reason I would do that is to put a scare tactic. But again, then eventually it's going to trickle down. I'm not going to be the only judge. Clearly, I'm putting myself in every position.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the only judge. And then somebody's going to trial this guy because of whatever reasons they have feelings towards this person. And like you said, 14 years, this guy is coming out now at 40.
Yeah. What can you
What
do
do
with
you
your
do?
life? Nothing.
That's why a lot that that come out of jail with
But you're
those
saying
long
at
sentences.
40, what do you do? I mean, that's like if you go in at 40 and coming out at 65.
I think that's a lot easier, personally.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not about
I-
easier. I,
I
think you
think-
know your consequences
Right.
at 40.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No,
it's like
no.
you
I
need
was
that.
talking about the aspect of coming out, not
Just- okay.
yeah,
Well,
the age.
if you look into it, a lot of prisoners
yeah,
either commit another crime or actually commit suicide
yeah,
because
yeah.
they have a problem adapting.
Adjusting back to life.
Right. Like imagine, like again, like we were just talking about Biggie and Tupac. Imagine when you went in jail, they were at the top of the charts. And obviously nowadays you can
You can
stay
still
in
get
tune.
access to that
but
stuff.
back
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
it was like, wait, Biggie and Tupac died?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I
Or
missed all that.
or
But even,
like,
but even the age, like you said, to blend back into society, somebody at the age of 16 or 18 goes to jail for 25 years. It's like you spent more of your life in jail than you have outside of jail.
And-
So what do you expect them to know?
exactly.
that's what
And
they know.
When you say to know,
Yeah.
with yours, you said 40, right? At least they got to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
This person has never worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I'm
They
coming
have a
out,
sense of what life was before
Yeah,
they went in.
right.
So
So now I'm coming out of work. I mean, I'm coming out of jail.
yeah,
I'm supposed to work. I've never worked.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to hire me.
Yeah.
yeah. No, I feel you.
Right? So I think that's why I say it's a little easier. Just because you've gone through certain steps where you're more mature. You've lived, I guess, a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's not easy for any scenario. But I can see where you're coming from. I could also see where there would be a little bit of hesitation.
Okay. Fair enough. I know we went a little
man.
journey with this one.
Little
Yeah,
left,
man.
little right, up, down.
Jeez.
Yeah. I think it's a good convo though, because
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
how old is too old and how young is too young?
Yeah, man.
It strikes conversation. That's
Yeah.
what
Lot
it
of
does.
different
you know what I mean?
areas in life that affect age, man. So
And I mean, we more so related it to I think the relationship aspect of it, the having kids portion of it, and then touched a little bit on the legal side of it too.
Yeah.
On the end there.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's other stuff we could touch on. Like how old is too old to change your career.
Oh, man.
There's a bunch. There's different ways you could go with it. You
Definitely
know what
not 33. I'm trying to change right now.
I mean? That's how it goes. But I don't know. What do you guys? There's more to say, or
I mean, I think we touched on it a lot. I don't know. I think I'm pretty good.
yeah, I think leave it to the people, man. I don't want to. We could talk about this for a long time.
Yeah.
okay. We'll have a part 2 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of other stuff we could touch on.
Absolutely.
All right,
sure,
so
for
let
sure.
me switch it up, man.
Yeah, switch it up.
Let me join in this little switch up thing that we got going on today. Let's hear some shout-outs, guys. We'll start with you, Superfly.
You have to take over the shout-outs now.
It's taking over.
I mean, you got all trying to switch it up on me.
What I got? Let me say shout out to my barber because that's where I'm heading after I leave here.
Oh, word? Hopefully you can cut me too.
Gotta get those appointments in.
Shout out to the listeners, man, for tuning in. The ones that tune in each and every week, we appreciate y'all. The ones that are just getting in touch with A2D,
Yep.
we want to shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Pass along the word. Like JT says, tell a friend to tell a friend. And that's it, man. That's it. I don't got too many shout outs this week.
What about you, JT?
Yeah. I'm ready. We switched it up, but I'm ready. So I want to shout out Dom in the background. You know, she holds it down.
That's my cuzzo.
I want to shout out, you know, the cast, like you guys. You guys do a great job, amazing job each and every week. Convo's great. I want to shout out SK Promo. He got us on this tour with the Canadian side of the tour, at least, with Fetty Wap and Adriana. Sorry. Make sure you guys check out Adriana's music. Shout out her. You can find her on Instagram at Adriana Official.
Perfect.
So check that out. Who else, man? Shout out Toronto. Shout out the listeners. And yeah, just make sure you guys keep listening each and every week. We right here, A to B.
Shout outs from First Class. Let's see. Let's shout out Kaepernick. Please go on this ride as long as you can. You've been putting in a lot of work, and now I think you're finally seeing the fruits of your labor.
Straight up, Kaepernick changed the world.
Facts. Shout out to Nike for standing behind not only him, but many athletes, including LeBron and Serena. Shout out Sierra. We're not going to say why, but you'll figure it out sooner or later why I'm shouting her out today. Shout out to Leasha Small. She started her own podcast. You can also get her on Instagram at Leasha Small. And you could find her podcast on Anchor. It's I believe it's the 4th episode now, and she's doing her thing, man. Definitely support our local people. Shouts First Class. He's here without a haircut this week, but still looking good enough for a 50-year-old. and shout out everybody behind the scenes, man. We appreciate not only the people behind the scenes, but our fans, people that tell us what they like and what they don't, and things that they want to make our show better. Appreciate that. And shout out the sponsors that will be coming, hopefully soon. To be continued.
Yeah. Leave them on the cliffhanger like
That's
that. Right. So we out. Agree to disagree. Make sure you check us each and every week.
Peace.